Good morning and welcome back to the Business Attraction Summit here at the RTPark campus. My name is Alfonso Rodriguez. I'm the Entrepreneurship Manager here at the RTPark. Today I have a really incredible panel with me. We'll be talking about workforce development and talent attraction here in the U.S. Virgin Islands. But first, let me introduce my panel. First, we have Commissioner Gary Malloy from the Virgin Islands Department of Labor.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Commissioner. On my side, we have Dr. Susan Dara McGrath from UVI Cell, the Director of Center for Excellence in Leadership and Learning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Susan. We also have virtually Trinity Granger Austria, owner and founder of Tizem Tech. Good morning, Trinity.
Good morning, everyone.
And last but definitely not least, David Thompson, co-founder and CTO of Exigo.
Good morning.
All right, so David, I'm actually going to start with you. I'm going to try to pitch you a little softball question here. What do you think are some opportunities and challenges when attracting talent here in the Virgin Islands?
Sure, there's a bit of both. I think, let's see, we've been here about 5 years now, so we've kind of we've had an experience to build up and see what's worked, what hasn't worked, and how we could supplement. I would say some of the challenges, obviously, is the obvious availability of talent initially, right? I would say that was one of the challenges that we faced. And to sort of combat that challenge and to sort of help with that is that we started a tech school. So we started, we said, we can, we have a culture of teaching people, of bringing people up. Let's create a school to teach people how to program, and let's see if we can't build some of the talent that we need to find here. But so that was, we did that. We launched that. We haven't launched it again since COVID, but that was we got some early successes that way. I would say some of the challenges also are honestly labor laws. That was they need to be well understood, and we have I think we have a history of treating our employees really well. And to the extent that you do that, and if you need to let one go, you are willing to offer a severance package and work with an attorney and get a good, airtight, but fair employment contract, something that both people understand and agree to in advance, and that sort of mitigates that one piece. I would say if you have a culture of training and mentoring, and you're willing to sort of embrace that as a company value, you do well here. There's a lot of people you'll find here that are talented and want to learn. And if you have sort of a mentorship and that's part of the DNA of your company, you'll do well. The other thing is where we couldn't find everybody that we need. Our focus initially when we came here is we wanted to hire 100% of the talent that we needed here in the Virgin Islands. And that was because it's easier to walk to the person next to you. It's easier to, but we were growing too fast and we didn't find everybody that we need to. And we were able to our final solution was we kept the majority of people here, some of the leadership team. In fact, one of our best programmers who's still with us today was a graduate from the UVI computer science department. But we had to augment our team with offshoring. And so we opened an office in Mexico. And we found that the combination of working with as many people here as possible with our team in Mexico was sort of the perfect mix that we were able to support our growth.
Okay. Thank you, David. Trinity, as another fellow founder, I'll kick the question over to you as well. What are some opportunities and challenges of attracting talent here in the USVI?
Cool, by making sure you're keeping up with your networks and checking LinkedIn and talking to people about their relatives and how they're doing now, and sustaining your projects in that manner. Also, when you have companies and departments, government departments that support small businesses, support businesses, local-based businesses, they use you as a preferred vendor, then you're allowed to sustain projects that will keep people employed. And it's really all about security and being able to bring in people and retain them. So that's really how we focus on retaining technical talent, is focusing on the true pool in the Virgin Islands and maintaining our networks and good relationships with the companies on island so they can sustain us as a preferred vendor.
Thank you, Trinity. I want to hone in on something you mentioned. You mentioned the brain drain, and in the first day of the summit, when we presented about the RTPark and some of our programs, we talked about the Vista Plus program. It's a program where we partner with the Department of Labor, and it's our sort of STEM pool talent, where we're looking to not just find talent, and as Trinity mentioned, not just find talent that's here locally, but also it's in the VI diaspora, on the mainland, other Caribbean islands, you know, internationally. So, Commissioner, I'm coming to you. Why do you think it's so important to work on projects like that that can actually sort of tackle the you know, quote unquote, the brain drain in the VI?
Thank you for that question, and it's perfect segue, because we're talking about the brain drain. We're talking about getting qualified individuals to help employers, you know, meet their goals. So our partnership with the RTPark, with the Vista Plus, is tremendous. What it does, as you mentioned, it allows us to search the diaspora for Virgin Islanders abroad. And so the Department of Labor already has a mandate that we have to be able to look for Virgin Islands abroad. So if you go to our Views website, which is our Virgin Islands electronic workforce system, you'll be able to see that there's a button on there. What we continue to do is recruit Virgin Islands abroad. And what we're going to be able to do with the partnership with RTPark and the Vista Plus, we're going to be able to expand that search. We did a study with our summer students from the LIFT program in the height of COVID in 2020. And what we found out that, you know, we are marketing, every company in the Virgin Islands must list their vacancies with the Department of Labor in our View system. And so what we found out that from this study these young people did for us is that there's not a lot of individuals hitting our websites. So they're hitting Indeed, they're hitting Monster, they're hitting other sites. And so with our limitations within the system, this partnership with the RTPark and the Vista Plus is going to just expand that, because that portal now that is going to be created, that is going to help us again to expand and to reach everybody that's a Virgin Islander, or if you're married to a Virgin Islander, and it's exciting.
Thank you, Commissioner, and I think that's a great point. Just doing good program management and directing the traffic to your website and to all the other websites, that's really important. I'm going to stick on another topic that was discussed a lot in day one. We had economist Dr. Wenner. He talked a lot about the funding that's in the USVI. A lot of folks, also panelists, brought up, you know, the need to tap into this funding for different programs and projects, but specifically on workforce development. Can you talk a little bit about the work that you guys have been doing over at the Department of Labor around workforce development?
My workforce team has been doing a tremendous job, along with our partners. Yeah. You know, so you know, we've been doing what we like to call braiding funds, and so based on the federal funding that we have opportunities to partner and to do on-the-job trainings, or no OJTs. We do customized trainings. We do incumbent worker training, and so we have the ability with those funds to be able to leverage the federal dollars to be able to support employers through that process. So, and in addition to that, we also have access to the community development block grant funds with a major program, Skills for Today. That is I'd like to call it our major customization or customer service training program in the territory. So what we're doing there is that we are training 640 individuals territory-wide, 400 in construction area, and then we have 240 individuals that are being trained in work-based learning opportunities. And that's where we're focusing on IT, we're focusing on healthcare, we're focusing on marine. And so it's very important that we are able to braid those funds to be able to bring opportunities to employers. So we also partner with UVI Cell, with Dr. Susan Darrow here, and then a part of that, our apprenticeship program. She's also the chair of the Apprenticeship Council. So there's a lot of tie-in that we've been using to leverage all our dollars.
Thank you, Commissioner. So you obviously gave me the segue to go to Suzanne now. Suzanne, I'm a UVI grad, and I think as a student, as someone in the community, you kind of know about the university, you know about the different sort of schools, you know, school of business, school of nursing, but I sometimes feel like as a community, we sometimes don't really explore the opportunities that are on the outside of the school. for example, UVI Cell. Can you give me a little bit about UVI Cell, the work that you do, and stuff related to workforce development?
Yes, absolutely, Alfonso. Thank you. So the UVI Cell is the Center for Excellence in Leadership and Learning. So this year we're celebrating 20 years in existence. UVI Cell, we got our start in workforce development primarily, but over the past several years, we've greatly expanded the types of services that we're able to provide to our community. So we have 3 primary service lines. So workforce development, our bread and butter, a lot of continuing education, professional development programs. We have over 500 online courses, self-paced online courses that individuals can sign up and take advantage of. We do custom corporate learning. We have open enrollment courses that anyone can sign up for. If someone is an instructor, they want to come and teach a course, we're your go-to place. We'll give you the facility, we'll help you with student registration, the payment, all of that. We'll take care of all those services for you. So that's workforce development. And then we have our community engagement side of the house. The Center for the Study of Spirituality and Professionalism also falls under UVI Cell, and we have our anti-violence and peace initiatives that are in that area. We also have our OSHA Safety in Paradise program, which provides free, confidential workplace safety and health evaluation, so that's also available. We work closely with Department of Labor. They handle the public side, we handle the private side. And then we also do contracting, consulting, and professional services. So that allows us to do a range of activities, pretty much anything that doesn't fall into your typical UVI academic track can come through UVI Cell. So we were fortunate to work on the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, the Tourism Master Plan over the past year and a half, and to be part of the community in a number of ways. So we do encourage students. I would think you would have come to UVI Cell for your placement testing back in the day, maybe, I don't know. But we do placement testing, so UVI students do get exposure to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess my question now is, we work with a lot of businesses when we're bringing them down here to the Virgin Islands. If I'm a business and I want to interact with the UVI Cell, what would that process be? Is it go to the website? Well, how would that intake process be?
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of folks, they'll reach out directly to the university, to UVI Cell, looking to learn more about what we offer, especially through the workforce development side. Because UVI Cell, we're under the Office of the President, and my supervisor, Dr. Haldane Davies, he's on the EDA board. We have a great connection there. So oftentimes, Mr. Kyle Thomas, he'll reach out to me from the EDA, and he'll say, there's a new business that's thinking about moving down here. Can you please talk to them, tell them about the opportunities here at the university? So he put me in touch even recently with a green technology company that's looking to move here, really innovative, doing some exciting, wanting to do some exciting things and looking for funding opportunities. So I tend to be pretty resourceful. The commissioner will tell you, as chair of the Apprenticeship Council, I'm also the secretary for the VI Board for Career and Technical Education, and I've been in the territory for over 18 years and lifelong educator here. So I'm able to resource, network, connect those companies with other academic departments or with our grant departments or with student services. So if you're looking to get ahead to build your workforce pipeline, let's connect you now with the computer science department. Let's connect you now with the marine science folks so we can find out what are those exact skills that you're looking to build. And even from the high school level, that's the nice thing about the Career and Technical Education Board, we can connect with our high school students and our teachers there and start to build that pipeline even earlier. There is a new law that's on the books now that requires all students in the territory to graduate not only with their high school diploma, but with an industry-approved credential. So we're looking to implement that. That should be coming in the fall of this year. And so individuals who are looking to develop in different pathways, now is the time to get in, to connect with us so we can start to put those programs in place and connect you with students early.
That is awesome work, Suzanne. Thank you so much. David, I'm going to go back to you because you mentioned a little bit in Exego in your company, you guys have the culture of sort of building talent and learning. Are there any other best practices that you would suggest to companies that are looking here to relocate and sort of build their workforce that you think are important to mention?
Yeah, I think part of that is culture at its deepest level. And what I mean by that, it doesn't work if the head of the company says, this is what we need to do. You need to have a culture of people helping their fellows, their fellow employee. And so I say some of that is the answer to some of that is found within companies themselves. If they have a culture of bringing people up, of elevating, of teaching, then that goes a long way to helping to train up the talent. I think what we found here, and what we found in a lot of places, was that you have just incredibly smart people who haven't had exposure necessarily to the specific technology that you're using, or they haven't had exposure to the specific flavor of what you're doing, but they're very capable and quick learners. And if you have just at a deepest culture level in your company a philosophy of teach, 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 then that goes a long way to actually making this place work.
Thank you, David. Trinity, I'll go to you next. Any best practices that you think are important to sort of highlight for companies that are looking to relocate here in the USVI?
Yeah. I think that just piggybacking on what everyone else has said, first of all, the Virgin Islands people are very capable and very competent people. And so knowing that, it's really important to stay close to your pipeline. So in the past, there are programs like the School to Work program that introduce students to industry and technology and engineering. I am a former LIFT summer scholar, and so I know how important that program is, and it's really important to know what companies to even note that you want to go work for. So it's important to be out there so the students know what their options are. And I think that I'm also a product of the UVI 3-2 engineering program. And so I'm able to stay close to the pipeline of engineers because of that. But I have a great understanding of how many engineers are out there. I think that it's amazing how many engineers the VI puts out. And I think that a lot of people aren't even aware of that. I'm able to stay close to that pipeline, but everyone doesn't have access to that. So I think that keeping an eye on School to Work students, and then 3-2 engineering program and LIFT scholars, it really allows you to be intimate with that pipeline. And I'm glad to hear that you're looking to bring back those programs like School to Work so that different companies such as David's has access to all that talent and can put the very capable Virgin Islanders to work.
And definitely shout out to the 3+2 program. Shout out to the School of Science, the UVI, and the math students. I'm repping the applied math degree. Oh, definitely the LIFT program. Yes, definitely. So, Commissioner, I'll go to you. Any best practices you think is important to share?
Well, it's important for businesses to know that from the Department of Labor side, we approach workforce as an economic development approach. And so we're here and employer-driven. We are here to listen, to hear what you need, and then we help in terms of helping you navigate through the workforce process in whatever way we can support. Typical employer comes, would contact the Department of Labor. We can either via our website at www.vidol.gov. You can also get a lot of our labor market information on vitalviews.org, where you'll get all the latest information on the unemployment rate, the highest number of jobs that are available. You can even search by different sectors to get an idea of the pool that's available within that. And what we will do, again, somebody from my workforce development division, my director now is Ms. Charlene Hodge, and we also are partnering with Equus, who is clearly helping us with getting individuals trained that the employers might identify. So we're listening to the employers, we're getting a lay of the land of what you need, we're then kind of setting up these meet and greets, these hiring opportunities to get you an opportunity to meet some of the candidates that we have already vetted through our system, and then when you identify that they need additional training, we then would help subsidize those training costs.
Yeah, and I think it's important, something you mentioned here, something that Trinity mentioned as well, it's just communication, networking, just getting that information out there. I know it's an island and it feels like it's small and everybody knows everybody, but no, it's important for folks to know we have incredible programs. We have our engineering students from UVI and a bunch of other great students from different schools. It's important to just network and give folks the information.
One more thing, just that the pipeline is tremendous. And what we are doing, again, because I'm also the vice chair of the Economic Development Authority, the EDA, and so partnering with the RTPark on the Vista Plus is huge, because when any company, again, comes in, or they need staffing, they need to employ individuals, we're making sure that they hire Virgin Islanders first. And if you come up in an area where you don't have a Virgin Islander available, we then have, with the connections of Vista Plus, to be able to search the diaspora to find somebody out there that can meet the requirements to help bring those Virgin Islanders back home.
Yeah, and as a business, that's important, because talent retention is so important. It's a cost. Anytime you bring in talent and you lose talent. It's so much easier to bring someone that's already part of the culture, part of the islands. You bring them in, more than likely that person you retain that talent more so than anybody that it's their first experience living on an island. Susan, I'll go last to you. Any best practices that you would give founders or companies that are moving to the VI and looking for a workforce?
Yes, so connect early with the university. You'd be surprised the types of support that can be offered to you, no matter what your industry is, what level of staffing that you require. You'd be surprised the variety of services that we can offer. With our academic departments, we encourage, and even non-academic, we encourage potential investors to offer to be a guest speaker. Come and talk to the students. Tell them about your business. Get them excited. A lot of times we find that our computer science students, they've got jobs like a year before they graduate. So you need to get in there early, get those students excited and interested about your company and what those opportunities are, and nurture that talent. Offer internships, offer apprenticeships. And get aligned with the university early. We recently just graduated 300 talented Virgin Islanders from the University of the Virgin Islands, and they're out there, they're looking for work. So connect with us, make sure our Student Career Services Office knows about your opportunities, that they're promoting those opportunities to students. I had the opportunity yesterday to attend the Ralph Raphael O'Wheatley Skill Center graduation over on St. Thomas. They had numerous students who graduated with career certificates. Several were in information technology. So the talent is not just at the university. You don't always have to bring talent in from the outside. We do have homegrown individuals, and that can be developed and nurtured here. I'd also encourage our prospective employers, existing employers, to send their employees to our classes. I do want to highlight some of the work that we're doing with the Skills for Today program in partnership with the Department of Labor. We're offering workforce readiness sessions, as well as one-on-one career navigation services. So if someone just needs additional support, resume writing, interviewing, job searching, all of those types of skills and supports, and just making sure that you are work ready. And then we are also offering for our incumbent workers in the government, especially those who are managing CBDGR projects, we're offering project management, we're offering grant management and data science as a professional development series. So too often, we hear in the government about grants having to go back, deliverables not being on time, and so the Department of Labor and ICF, they customized this unique program that's being offered through UVI-CEL to really build those skills so that we don't continue to have those types of challenges. And then lastly, I just want to highlight, we have our EDA University Center that's recently launched over on St. Thomas. This is in partnership with the University of Puerto Rico, Mayagüez, so it's a Caribbean regional EDA University Center. Very exciting. We currently are working with 27 small businesses, either they don't yet have their business licenses, they're aspiring entrepreneurs, or they're established businesses and looking to grow their business and get support. It's a year-long cohort program. So a lot going on,
yeah, no,
Alfonso.
Shout out to Dr. Banjoko.
Yes.
I know he's doing awesome work.
He is running the University Center.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess sort of my final question to wrap up the discussion. Trinity, I'll go to you first. Yesterday I got a few questions on this when we talked about VI STEM Kids, our sort of youth STEM program here at the RTPark. But I get this question a lot when I sort of go out in the community and I have interactions with students. We have students in high school, in the university here, that are asking us for advice or what do you think they should be doing, in their first few years in college as a STEM major, whether it's computer science, math, or any science degree? Any advice, general advice that you would give those students, Trinity?
In the first few years of college?
Well, first few years of college or in high school.
Okay. So if I had to go back and give myself advice, I would say make sure that you have summer internships under your belt. Make sure that you're following your paradigm closely with your school and any partnering schools. When you're coming out of high school, if you know you want to do engineering, be open to what types of engineering that you want to do. The first 2 years are really general, so give yourself some time to decide what's the best track for you. Talk to people in the field, know where you want to move after school to see if there's opportunities for that role. I know people who did biomedical engineering and wanted to come back to the Virgin Islands, and that's just not always like feasible opportunities here. So just know what you're getting into and where the opportunities are at. And I would say just push through. Time flies, and stay close to your TAs and try and stay as tight as possible, and it'll be done. So that's my advice to my past self and any future STEM students coming up.
It stuck with me because it feels like it was only like yesterday when we were right across the street in Complex, and now we're here at a summit. So yeah, time does fly. David, any advice for young students?
Full disclosure, I have a huge bias. Computer science, programming all the way. And here's why. Not only are there opportunities here, but if you want to stay and be a resident here, you can work for any company in the world. So it has probably the most portable skill set anywhere, and we can still retain people that live here.
Yeah. So yesterday I said it, but it's something that I say constantly. So when I do these talks, kids ask me, should I follow my heart? Should I get into creative degrees? And I'm like, hey, follow your heart. But Uncle Alfonso is telling you, hit that computer science. That is where the money's at. That's where the opportunities are. Hit that computer science, and maybe do a double major and do your music or your creative arts on the side. But stick to computer science. Commissioner Mello, any advice for fellow young students?
Well, and I'm happy to chime in, especially being a former educator, still an educator, but former superintendent as well. It's important that exposure is important, and I think Susan touched on it very, very, very well in terms of making sure that guest speakers, students are exposed to the different occupations, the different industries, because I think here in the Virgin Islands, we've kind of narrowed that scope a little bit too much in terms of who our young people have a direct access to. And so what the Department of Labor is doing is making sure that we partner with the Department of Education a lot more closely. We're looking at their portrait of a graduate and pulling out the skill sets that are necessary to help with us going in and bringing those industry individuals to speak to our young people and matching those with the own it skills to make sure that we're looking at the Vision 2040, those industries for the future. And again, IT is going to be a very, very big part of that, because everything is going to require that knowledge. So critical thinking, making sure that it's one thing to do your content, but you have to tie it with experience.
Yeah. And I'll remind folks, yesterday we had Daryl Wade, CIO of VINGN, and he talked in depth about the infrastructure, our broadband infrastructure here in the USVI, and he encouraged companies to not be afraid. We have great connectivity here in the USVI. So when it comes to working virtually, it is something that's available and possible here in the USVI.
It's really important. I think that especially to Virgin Islanders, it's important to understand that nothing is that hard, right? Everything sounds really hard. Tech sounds hard. STEM sounds hard, but you're very capable and no one is smarter than you, right? Rocket science isn't even rocket science. So I get a lot of students that come up to me and say, like, how many years of math do I have to take? Or how many years do I have to take physics? Or it's not that hard. You're going through it with a group of people and you're pushing yourself forward. And there's so much out there to help you now. You can Google your way into tutorials. You can get help from so many sources. So I think that it's important for us to push our students to challenge themselves and really in the areas of STEM and get rid of the notion that math is hard and just help them. Because I think that we don't want anyone to miss out of opportunities because they're scared that something is too hard. And I think that the Virgin Islands students are just as capable as everyone else, so.
An important message, Trinity, and that's something that I take with me anytime I do any of my youth programs. Anytime I have a guest speaker, I try to make sure it's someone from the VI, because I always think I want to make sure those kids see someone from here, like speak like them, and they can see that we have engineers, we have folks all over the mainland working in different fields and different markets and doing incredible stuff. So I think that's a really incredible point. I got a few questions here from the audience. So I'm going to start divvying them up and hitting you guys with them. David, I'm going to go first to you because I think you mentioned for a little bit about your workforce being a little bit hybrid, folks here, folks virtually. So there's a question here asking about how has the virtual world and all this telecommunication affected working now in this new age?
Yeah, and I think that's a question that every company is asking. This is a conversation that's going on a million times, and there's companies that demanded everybody get back to the office, and the employees simply said, we'll go work for somewhere else. So I think we're entering a phase where it's very commonplace to have this sort of hybrid work environment, and I think that's here to stay. That's a huge upside for the Virgin Islands, because this not only can people live here and work for companies on the mainland by just attracting people, but companies can come here, retain as much staff as here, and if they need to augment, they can augment their staff that are remote to kind of. I think the end goal for what RTPark is trying to do is make the companies that come here be successful. So in order to make the companies be successful, they have to solve labor. In order to solve labor, you want to make as much available locally as here, because that's going to be the least friction. To the extent that that's not possible, I think this remote hybrid work environment works well, and in the end, the companies become successful or can be successful with the whole experience, and I think everybody wins.
Thank you. Trinity, any thoughts on the changing working landscape and the use of telecommunications and virtual communication platforms?
Yeah, sure. So I started my career in a large corporation, so I had access and experience with Zoom. I had Zoom before the pandemic, and we were allowing people to work from home and work remotely. And I think it's helpful because you can really expand. We have a Florida office as well. And so I am based in the Virgin Islands, but we have Florida engineers that we're able to communicate with. And I think once you are deliverable driven and you don't feel the need to micromanage because you're aware of the deliverables that your employees are getting to you and all the boxes are checked. I think if they can do that more efficiently, and if they can do that using the clouds, using Box and Dropbox and et cetera, and still allow you to achieve everything that you need as a company, I think that it's a great thing, and it allows your employees to have work-life balance and ultimately be more engaged and happier to work for you, and really it will allow you to have a sustainable company. So I think it's all good things that's coming out of this, especially with Gen Z and millennials. Like, it's really about enjoying your life, having work-life balance, and then also hitting your objectives, even if you can do that in a more efficient manner. And I think that this hybrid work and allowing people to work from home, it allows for expansion of your company easily, and it also allows for happier employees.
Thank you, Trinity. Suzanne, at UVI Cell, have you guys noticed the need to train folks and virtual platforms? Is that something that's come up over the last few years?
Yes, so again, luckily, like Trinity, we've had our virtual classes in place for many, many years, and so when the pandemic hit, it wasn't a huge shift for UVI Cell to move to the virtual environment, but yes, so we've been doing pretty much all of our classes still virtually. The university does have a vaccination requirement, which has had some challenges with students, that wasn't their college experience that they preferred. So we'll see how that progresses in the months and weeks to come here. But yes, so virtual is always available. You can do our classes either in person or online.
Perfect. Always available. That's good to know, because I think that it seems to be part of the future now. Commissioner, I've got a question here on talking about why is talent retention important? What's the incentives to sort of invest in talent retention?
Well, it's important because, you want to train to make sure that the talent that you have is there with you, because if you don't train them, you're going to have a problem. The retention problem that we have here is tied to the opportunities, and it's tied to COVID has taught us we're going to have a hybrid. It is a job seekers market in terms of them making the determination as to where they're looking at it. And what we're seeing is some people in our populations that we've been surveying are not looking primarily at salary. They're looking at the environment, and they're looking at the options, they're looking at the flexibility. So it's going to be important to make sure that employers come with that in mind, looking at that. And so Department of Labor is going to make sure that we have more training opportunities that lead to IT, that listen to the employer's needs in terms of, engineer title, you might, within the spec of the engineer, the actual functions are important, and the skill set that needs to be performed is really what we'll be looking at to make sure that we match the right employer with the right job seeker.
Okay. Well, I have another question for you, and then I'll go to Suzanne, and I think it's a really good question. It's talking about what are your guys' thoughts on potential employers and jobs that are out there that require folks to just have a certificate maybe from high school or from a technical school, rather than pursuing something that's more the traditional college degree?
Well, it's huge, because right now the workforce, the market is looking at skilled individuals. And so we're going to need, based on the RAND study, we're going to need 5,000 more individuals to be able to help us with the recovery. And that's 5,000 with everybody in the Virgin Islands working. And so you're looking at a situation where you're going to have to make those amends. I lost my train of thought here, because I'm thinking about so many different things at the same time. But the crux of the question?
It's about creating opportunities so folks can find employment just with either with certificates from high school or from technical school.
So the importance of that is making sure that the trainings that we're doing are nationally recognized. So we're making sure individuals, we're leveraging the federal dollars to make sure that those certificates are recognized anywhere. And so it's very important that we take advantage of them. And we talk about the skills for today. All the construction areas are nationally certified in the IT, the marine, the healthcare space. We're also making sure that the experience and the work-based learning lead to apprenticeship programs and to full-time employment, but they're all tied to making sure that individuals are highly trained, highly skilled, and have that national certification. So it's not necessary for you to necessarily go to a 4-year college.
Any thoughts on that, Susan?
Yes, I would echo that. So that's the nationwide trend. Especially with the student debt crisis as well. Not to say a 4-year degree is not highly valuable, but individuals, they want to get their certifications, get those skills, and get to work. So that's where it's very exciting to be at UVI-SEL at this time. We're seeing our student numbers growing, people who are looking to get those certificates. We are an approved partner through Department of Labor. We offer numerous certification programs that individuals can take for free through UVI-SEL with support through Department of Labor. We have our new Culinary Arts Center. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. That's going to be launching on St. Thomas. It's a teaching, restaurant, and culinary arts program leading to industry recognized certification all the way up to a certified executive chef. Nice. Yeah, so really great things that are happening.
I've always wanted to be a chef, so.
Hey, come on to UVI-SEL.
UVI-SEL, talk to us. Connect.
Get you connected.
I don't think Peter would be too good at that. All right, my final question, Trinity, I'm coming to you. I think it's a really important question because you talked about the talent here in the VI and believing in yourself. But there's another issue I think in tech when it comes to in being in an industry that's male dominated. What are your thoughts on just male dominated tech jobs and the ability for women to get in there? What do you think it's important for women to do when trying to get into STEM and technology jobs?
I think it's important to have confidence and just keep pushing. Like, I'm big on pushing, right? So sometimes you go into a room and you say something and you're not necessarily heard, and that's okay. You keep saying it. Sometimes you send an email and you don't get a response right away, but that's okay. You resend it, right? So you can't just back off and say, like, this isn't working for me. An interesting statistic is that female engineers, especially Black female engineers, the number year on year is actually decreasing. And being a Black female engineer, I understand why that's the case. Not everyone has the armor to keep pushing. I think that growing up in the Virgin Islands, it's important to be creative. We learned that it's important to be creative in how you work and how you sustain your lifestyle in general. And so I would just encourage women to seek out mentors to help them navigate, and then encourage women to also pull other women with them. You shouldn't feel like you don't want to help someone because you don't want to be pushed out of the room when you bring someone in. I think that any boardroom should represent the population. So you see a 50-50 population of male to female, then you shouldn't be nervous about bringing another woman into a room because it reflects your population. And I think that the more that you do that, the more it becomes normalized and you're really just helping. So I think it's important to just mentor other women and keep speaking because eventually somebody's going to hear you.
Thank you, Trinity. I think with that, I'll conclude this panel. I want to thank Commissioner Gary Malloy. Thank you so much for being here. David Thompson from Mexico, thank you so much. My good friend, Susan Darrow McGrath. I've actually worked with Susan in the past, so I consider her a friend and almost a mentor. Trinity, fellow Complex partner, thank you for being here with us. Thank you so much, guys. We'll go for a short break, and then we'll follow up with a panel on sustainability.